live, mate.
Yeah, do it now.
Change the top.
Hang on. Don't lose yourselves. Retro town shorts, though.
Burn him. My light's gone wrong. Not the shorts.
Flattered angle there.
Oh, he's going out of the room and doing it. What a letdown.
Bruce is not bashful.
Hello, everybody. Bruce has just had an epiphany. Is that the right word? That he needs to change his top.
It's because I said that he's got a rather red-looking face.
For a podcast which is primarily audio only.
Well, you say that. People come for the sex appeal.
That's true.
Sam's not here this week.
No.
Good point. John's the best-looking member of the group, isn't he? If
he's a good-looking fella, is John.
Yeah, he's good-looking. Yeah, he's a good-looking bloke.
Please put your comments in below. Who is the best-looking person on the pod? I mean,
John.
Hannah's going to be slightly disappointed by that comment, Youngie, but there we go.
Who?
We're discussing who's the best-looking member of the pod. Me and Mike think it's John.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
John. Which one's John?
Fuck off, Bruce. How old are you?
Amazing. How old are you? Don't start that.
I didn't even mean to do that. John's got really good bone structure around the jaw. I think that's what it is.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Easy paper round.
We've got quite good
was all downhill, wasn't it?
Flab structure around the jawline. The rest of us.
Yeah. He never got them Sunday papers, did he?
No. The worst one, Youngie. I did the Target. The Target was the worst.
Oh, that's the worst. Yeah, absolutely. Did you end up did most of them end up in the river, Alex?
I tell you what.
He's
none of the leaflets, and no one cares, Mike. None of the leaflets went in. I mean, unless I tell you what did. They sent once a sample of Nescafe coffee. We didn't have to buy coffee for a year. Brilliant.
So you're telling me all them double glazing brochures and Netto booklets never made it to the good people of Caister? Oh,
no. And do you know what, Youngie? I like that because that's not where I lived. But it's close.
He'll be.
Yeah. Oh no, ruined. Anyway, the best one was they did go round once and ask people if they get the paper. I didn't know they did that, but they asked my nan. So she went, "Yeah, he's lovely." It's like, if anything, there's too many leaflets.
the poor man's got
If anything, the paper's put through my letterbox too quietly. I never know it's here.
Yeah. It's so
Bruce,
soft.
did you have a paper round?
Of course he did. Look at his face.
We didn't have papers delivered where I was.
Not invented it then?
What, East Ravendale?
I was at Bealsby. Now we're getting it wrong. I went to East Ravendale Primary.
Sorry, I apologise.
That was the local Borstal.
When Bruce was a lad, they used to have to go around with a big bell shouting out the news.
Yeah. He doesn't look like he's in the mood to play today.
He's not happy there, is he? He's
not
we're
happy.
finding what level Bruce is at today. What level's Bruce at? I think we're
right.
finding he's not as high as he usually is, so we'll have to take it down a notch.
What is going on with you, Bruce? Is everything all right? Because I assume you've been at the cricket club.
No, not today. Yesterday was a long enough day.
Have you been out in the sun? Because you're matching that T-shirt quite nicely.
It's that time of year, Mike, where you try and get out in the fresh air.
There's the level, Youngie. We've got it. We're all zoned in on that now for the rest of the day, right?
Yeah.
Just
so what time was your first drink yesterday, Bruce?
You want me? What time was the first drink?
What time was your first drink yesterday?
About quarter to 8. The Tequila Rose was out. The Tequila Rose was out on the train. At Carvey, your mate Carvey brought Tequila Rose. That was doing the rounds early. But I was supposed to meet Sam yesterday. I was hoping he was going to be on tonight because originally he told me he was frightened of coming drinking with us again after Oxford, and he was really excited. And then his train slipped to 12:30, so he was going to be late in. And then he tried ringing me. I even went outside the bar, and I couldn't hear him. He was doing that fake pretend crackly where I can't hear you, mate. You're cutting up. And I actually never saw him all day.
Standard Sam.
He got straight to the ground, went in the gate. At least he was at the game, Mike. He went straight in the ground. Never saw him. probably filled his face with his auntie's money, and then went home again.
Next time you do an all-day drinking session at a town game, Bruce, can you do that TikTok trend where you film yourself, say, "Hi, I'm Bruce. This is my first drink," and then at the end of the day, do the same for the end of the night. Just
the only problem is for Bruce is he doesn't actually know when the first and the last drink end. They kind of merge into one.
Oh, Youngie, have you met Shep before? You know Shep, don't you?
Yeah, I know Shep. Yeah.
Right. Yesterday, it was dead funny. We were coming out of this pub. Right, you can turn that off.
What, you?
Right. We were coming out the last pub.
I'm sorry, but if you're not gonna be on camera, Bruce, and show off your wonderful face, why do we get the anecdote? Oh, he's unmuted himself.
Right. Yeah, we come out the last pub, and it's called the Empress, and it's on that big roundabout near the only pub near the ground. And Shep walks out the pub, and he accidentally clipped. That's really distracting. Can you turn that off? I don't get this shit from ITV. And anyway, he accidentally clipped this local.
Oh, he's going through the entire lot. Got me.
And he knocked him into a flower bed, Youngie. This 70-odd-year-old man. Oh. He went tumbling backwards into a flower bed, and it was absolutely. I mean, he didn't do it on purpose. It was a complete accident. It wasn't an act of hooliganism.
Was he one of the lost ones then at the end? Because you mentioned you lost some of your party. So who did you lose, Bruce?
Well, they didn't make they missed the train because it's quite a walk from the town centre to the ground, isn't it?
No.
And we were in this pub, and then suddenly it was like I was destroying all comers at pool, and then we suddenly realised there was only about 20 minutes to the train. Well, I walked quite quick, and we were with Trigger, and he's about 9 foot tall, so he's about one stride to everybody else's 3. So we set off at a fair old pace, and poor old Dave Donaldson and Shep got left behind, and then they didn't make the train, and so they were constantly an hour behind at all connections. But then they got home apparently.
It's not that far.
What?
It's not that far. I lived there for a lot of years. It's not that far. Did you walk over the straight or around it?
You can't walk around the hills very much, mate.
There's no hills.
There's a massive hill.
No, there's not.
I think you're getting mixed.
You've gone the wrong way.
I think you've got dyslexia.
You've gone the wrong way.
All. Right. Anyway, enough about me.
Oh well. Do you know? I enjoy hearing about your trips out to Betty's Tea Room.
I'll tell you what. The weather. Have you been, Mike? How posh is the Weatherspoons in?
Yeah, it's quite posh.
In the Winter Garden.
It's the most Grimsby conversation ever.
No, it is. It's like the Royal Baths next door to the Royal Baths, and it's sort of attached onto it. And you go in the top from the street, and you go down like this really steep, ornate set of steps, don't you? It's typical Harrogate. I always call Harrogate not proper Yorkshire because being from South Yorkshire and living there for a few years, nobody's got an accent and nobody resembles anything to do with Yorkshire. It's like a retired general's town.
It's a very very civilized place, isn't it? The road down to the ground was lined with Range Rovers.
Mm. Yeah, do you know they didn't let them have a Primark for 10 years because they didn't like it on the high street.
But yeah, we'd be grateful just to have a shop open on our high street, won't we now?
We've got loads of shops open. Have you seen all those 24-hour-a-day news agents that sell vapes?
Oh, they're getting raided, aren't they? I see. They'll be on that police action thing.
Can we stop there, Bruce? As an employee of the UK government, I cannot talk about this. Thank you.
But it's happening Tuesday, 5 a.m.
I'm always chirped in.
Yeah.
You want a PPE contract? You've got one. You want a PPE contract?
There's 3 people that got PPE contracts off this podcast alone.
True.
Just because Sam helped them out. Yeah, it's brilliant.
But
where are you going to get your hair cut? Where are you going to get your hair cut now? Where are you going to get your vapes and where are you going to get your weird crisps?
Vape. It's going to be announced in a few years' time, and anyone that's ever put a vape in their mouth is just going to die. It's going to be like no one knows.
It's nothing to do with the chemicals, but Bruce is going around with a 12 ball.
No one knows. No one knows what that shit's doing to you. It's bloody. It's yeah. They reckon COVID was bad. That'll sort them out. But you don't need vapes. Barnett's is the only barbers you need in Grimsby and Cleethorpes. They've been doing mine for years. They just keep fucking up this front bit and making it into an island.
Do they charge you the same bit, the same amount since you went?
You used to get a bottle of beer when I first used to go, but Youngie's lot stopped that.
What do you mean Youngie's lot stopped that? What did he do? Start throwing them around the back?
The establishment, they stopped it.
Youngie, he's a shot down now.
Yeah, that's one gone.
Yeah. So yeah.
If anyone gives a shit about golf.
Anyway,
somebody watching the golf.
Can we talk about the football while I can remember it?
Not really.
No. All right, well, I'll be quiet for a minute, and you lot can do your stuff.
There you go. It's 10 minutes. Should we start?
It's a long way to crawl.
Open wide for some soccer!
And now the shipping forecast issued by the Met Office on behalf of the Maritime and Coast Guard Agency at 1130. Go! At 1130.
I don't think I've ever wanted to be in a stand more than my life around there. They're going crazy. Hey, they got penalty here. There'll be fish flying about there. There's no tomorrow.
What a magnificent piece of football! A really, really good goal. You can't make it straight like that.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the DN35 podcast. Great to have you along. We saw one of the best goals since Lee Peacock, let's be honest. And then came home, as always, from Harrogate, slightly disappointed. Bruce was sort of there. Sam was there. I don't think Youngie was there. Let's just go through the list. And me and Mike weren't there either. I think, that was about it, really. Bruce, what was it like? You said you wanted to talk about football. You go for it.
I have never felt, rarely have I felt, I'll rephrase that, so comfortable. I never felt any jeopardy during the game at all. And we ended up drawing 2-2, and I don't quite know how it happened. I just, till they scored the first goal, I just never, I don't know about you guys, we all saw the game. I don't know if Youngie saw it, but I'm guessing you two did. It was just, I just felt comfortable. We were chatting behind the goal. It was sociable. There was a bit of singing and, people tried a bit decent atmosphere. And I just never felt anything like, after we went 2-0 up, I never felt that we wouldn't win the game. And I still don't know what happened. I don't even think that we were tactically that bad. We did anything wrong. I can't explain it. I don't know how it happened.
Maybe I'm not absorbing as much social media nowadays, but I didn't necessarily see the meltdown that is usually attributed to a town disappointment, whether it be a defeat or, grabbing a draw from the grasp of victory. But I thought it was 2-0. We were absolutely cruising. Harrogate offered very little. First goal can happen. I know people are a bit critical of Rodgers, and I'm sure I'll come to Mike about that. He's already unmuted. But I would give him the benefit of the doubt. He's tracking back, which loses you a bit of the momentum to be able to head it further away. But he's not the only one to have had to be able to deal with that. And then the second one is tantamount to a team that are genuinely trying to throw everything at it to make sure you keep the win, and you're defending to the last. And Rose, who we all know, throws himself in at it. And it's just unfortuitous that it comes off his head into the right place for another one of his cracking headers. Just a shame it was in the wrong thing. Mike, I'm going to mute you because I can hear you tapping your pen impatiently. And I'm not too despondent, slightly disappointed. I'm slightly worried about Swindon. I think they'll have the bit between their teeth. And then we play Port Vale, who are on a run. And then before you know it, it's 3 defeats in a row and it's kind of done. And if that's it, then that's fine. I don't mind that. I don't expect to get into the playoffs. It's well above my expectations. And I was having a chat with Mike about it. if we get there, it's brilliant. If not, it sets us up to be even stronger next year because the vast majority of the players we want are going to be here next year. And I'm really happy to have them here. David Artell was scathing, I've got to say. I'm really disappointed on both the Humberside and Scott's interview, which I assume is done slightly after the other ones because it seems to be a bit quieter. But it was, what a goal. Let's just talk about the goal. Mike, come on then. You want to talk about Doug Tharm, I assume, because he's worked out how to throw a ball.
No, I'll get on. I'll get on to this. I think it is relevant. I thought yesterday we weren't fantastic. I thought it was actually a bit poorer than we have been for a while, and I think 2-0 lead at half time probably papered over that a little bit. And just to caveat that, I wouldn't say we were poor. I just don't think we were particularly good. I think Harrogate, after the first 10-15 minutes, started to stop us playing. They sort of went man for man in the middle of the park, and we weren't finding the outballs through the thirds as much as we had done previously. But we've scored 2 cracking goals, which we'll talk about separately because I think Greenies deserves to be talked about on its own. So we'll leave that for now. And then second half, I think we conceded far too much possession. And we might say it looked comfortable, but when you haven't got the ball and you're just letting them have the ball and you're not getting hold of it, slowing the game down well enough, or doing anything on the counter attack, because we had so many opportunities to get at them, winning the ball back quite high, Barrington running at them, and we just didn't utilise that as much as we should. I think Barrington had a great chance when Van Sorsen got free on the byline and got it across, and that could have been 3-0 and game over. But I think we conceded too much possession, and by and large, it was in front of us, so it wasn't causing us much problems. But I think then you see the fragility when we lose a key man in a key area, and it could have been McJanet, it could have been any of that back three. But I think when you lose one of them, like we lost Doug, I think the writing was on the wall there. I think we sort of went to pieces a little bit in those last 10 minutes, and I think that's where some of the frustration from me and others come from. You're quite right what you say, Alex. That doesn't change the fact we're still happy with where we are, happy with the season and happy with the team. But I think it's legitimate to be a little bit disappointed when you're 2-0 up and then you draw a game. Going into the match, we'd probably been happy with a draw away at Harrogate. I think it's a place that's that we've not been massively great at. But so a point would have been good. But I just think we weren't ourselves yesterday, and I think being 2-0 up at half time maybe covered that a little bit. I think with the first goal, I think Rodgers could do better. He could head it to the side. He seems to just head it up straight to their man, and he's done a good finish. And then it's a set piece corner front post header we've missed again. And Danny Rose is unlucky to put it in his own net. He didn't mean to put it there. It happens, but we've missed a front post header. So not clearing our lines and not defending a set piece has cost us 2 points, and it's just gut wrenching. Absolutely gut wrenching, because you've gone from being 5 points clear and in 10 minutes to be 1 point clear. And hopefully that maybe makes a few of us realise we are still an outside chance of the playoffs this year. We're ahead of where we should be. I think for a brief moment yesterday, some of us were starting to believe a little bit. So typical Grimsby town, bring us all back down to earth. But as we've said before, this group of players, they'll go again, they'll regroup. Long way to go, lots of ups and downs. And, I wouldn't put it past them to beat Swindon and beat Port Vale over the next week. Really wouldn't.
Yeah. Aaron has gone full Grimsby, saying we'll miss out on the playoffs, lose all our best players, and then finish 17th next season. Don't worry, Aaron. We will get you someone to talk to after the show. Youngie, what were your thoughts on it and how we came about? We will talk about the joyous moments because there's 2 brilliant goals to talk about. But is there any room for positivity amongst town fans? Are we going too dark and dingy with it? Is it just one of those things? And it's still in our hands, isn't it?
I think we've got to take it into isolation, and it's hard when it first happened because everything happened so quickly, didn't it? 85th minute they get one back, 87th minute they equalise, 89th minute Colchester get the winner, and we've gone from kind of having 85 minutes of go. And as Bruce said, yeah, Mike is right. We didn't kind of do enough with the ball second half, but we didn't particularly look bothered either. We didn't really look like we were under the cosh. And to suddenly kind of go from that feeling, oh, this is good, this is a massive step into the playoffs, to suddenly panic stations 4 minutes in a 4 minute moment of madness is, as Mike said, it's gut wrenching. But what I'll say is that a team with George McCracken and Kieran Green firing on all cylinders will give any team a game in this league. And I honestly think that I watched them again yesterday. First half, particularly McCracken was just controlling midfield once again. Kieran Green was just they didn't know what to do with him when he was like darting from midfield. And that's another thing we lost. Yes, Tharn was a big loss coming off, but Green as well, because we lost that kind of almost that out ball, because Green was the out ball on the counter attack. He was that kind of one that was driving everybody forward. Mike.
Oh, you didn't have to stop instantly. I was just saying something.
Yeah. I saw it. Yeah.
It's just what you was talking about. That I think also we lost Corey. Now, the first half, I don't think he was particularly good with the ball, but I think second half we missed his energy. He's getting up and down, and Davis is coming back into the team and probably a yard or two short, and he wasn't particularly good with getting hold of the ball, progressing it up the pitch a little bit. So I think second half, I think that probably contributed to it, because Corey McEachran in there. McEachran does a lot of outstanding things, but I don't think you notice Corey's missing until he's missing, and I think we noticed that the second half. Just in terms of we're winning the ball back up high. He's one of these energetic players that would be getting up there with Barrington and Green and Rose to try and make it 3-0. And just in terms of my criticism of them, I wouldn't say they were bad. I just think we were not as good as we had been. And I think in the second half, we need to try and dominate and see that game out better than just letting them have the ball, because you're always opening yourself up to big ball in the box, dropping down and somebody putting it in. You're 2-0 up, it instantly under pressure straight away. And that's a big change of momentum in the game from being comfortable to under the cosh. If you're under the cosh the entire game, you're there and you're with the sort of standard of play. But that big change, you're always asking for it to happen. And we saw that, a big ball into the box, we didn't clear it. Great finish, top corner, bang under pressure.
Yeah, I agree. The one thing you maybe say at the moment that is to our detriment is that you look at that subs bench and you look at it on paper and go, that is a really strong subs bench. But how many of them are really chomping the bit to start games right now? And I get that there's injury and there's fitness and stuff like that. But you look at maybe like a Curtis Thompson, for example. Now, 1 year ago, if you had Curtis Thompson on the bench, you'd be thinking that's a great substitute to have. He can come on, control the game, man mark someone, put some tackles in. But he does look like a shadow of his former self. Oh, yes, Alex.
Do you think Curtis Thompson is the modern day Parslow?
Slow. I said it. My 4 words were Curtis Daniel Parslow Thompson.
There you
go. But no, I think that's harsh. But
on who?
Parslow.
No, I think it's harsh on Thompson, because Thompson, as much as you've seen him go backwards with the injuries, and it's hard to look on from the outside in. I think he did a phenomenal job for us last season, which Daniel Parslow never did.
Yeah,
I think Thompson is vital to the fact we turned it around last season.
Yeah, I agree. And so yeah, at the moment, I don't see, like, if someone said to me, Barrington, who would you take, Barrington or Davis, for example? I'd take Barrington right now. If somebody said to me about Vernon, give him a try, I wouldn't really want to. So I just think that maybe the first 11 is strong, very, very strong. But I do worry, and especially if we make the playoffs, that perhaps we don't have enough strength in depth currently. But still, the train hasn't stopped. The train has just slowed down a little bit.
It's a weekend service. It's now on a bus.
It's a weekend service, exactly. So Friday's massive. It's huge now, even bigger than we thought it was going to be. Let's just hope the ground is rocking. I for one was all for kind of getting on Holloway's back and making it, but let's not. Let's just use it to get behind the team and push them home. And if we can get 4 points next weekend, I think that is a job very well done.
I think you're right about. I think you're right about Swindon. I've been one to absolutely have a go at Holloway, and it was nice to do it there. He had the last laugh, but it's bigger than that, and it's bigger than him. He's played a small part in the club's history. and the future is far brighter with him in fucking Wiltshire than at Town. And it's about the 11 guys on the pitch and nobody else really. I think it's absolutely Town. We will be in it till the very, very last. I think there's far more to be excited about than to be worried about. If we miss out on the playoffs, then we miss out on the playoffs. Who cares? It's been exceptional, but we're the team in the driving seat. Colchester would swap with us tomorrow for where we currently are. And we shouldn't really look past that. Swindon is eminently beatable. They're going to push, as are Port Vale, which means they're going to leave space behind, and we can absolutely, take advantage of that. And then who knows? It felt very Northampton yesterday, for those of you who remember 2005, 2006, where Town conceded in the last minute, and then who was it was it Northampton? No, we played Northampton, and then who was the Leighton Orient who then scored with? Was it?
Yeah, and it completely flipped, didn't it?
Within 2 minutes. It was in 2 minutes.
Yeah,
but it's not as all we've done is lost a little bit of a gap, and if we'd have lost to Swindon, and we could have been saying, "Oh, we're only a point behind now." It's all with us. We're scoring from the halfway line. Nobody's safe. Every time Green gets the ball now, he's going to be. Yes, Mike, I can see you there. You're bad as Sam, and I'm really looking forward to it. And Mike, I will come to you. Dave Artell left his grief to the last. Very critical of Doug Tharm and him faking a cramp. Or maybe he was a late. What were your thoughts on that? And the many other 15 issues you have when you were raising your hand, like someone who, or do you need to go to the toilet?
Worse than Sam, I was raising my hand.
Yeah. It was multiple times though. I didn't notice you were there.
No, because I thought you'd looked away and I didn't know you'd got me. Okay, I won't do it next time.
Like you're on a pogo stick.
One thing I was going to say about the playoffs is you're all completely correct. We don't need to labour the point, but we're ahead of where we should be. I really think it's Notts County and Wimbledon are still really catchable. We've closed the gap. Notts County are having a nightmare, so let's not just look behind us. Let's look in front of us. If we'd hung on yesterday, we'd be level of points with Notts County, and it just goal difference. So I think
Walsall.
And I think from a mindset point of view, it's not us or Colchester. And I think that's really true. It's not us or Colchester. And these teams above us have to play some decent teams. We have to play some decent teams, of course, but so do they. Some of them are playing each other. So it's not just one into one. There's three into it. So let's look at that. In terms of the what was the other thing you asked me? Was it about the Doug Tharm thing? I didn't really like it. I thought he was really out of character. I've not heard David Artell do that too much. And I think you maybe heard a little bit of frustration with the capitulation coming out there, because he doesn't usually do that. And I just thought it was a really odd thing to do. I don't, it's not like he's I think Wilson he's done it with before, and he turned out, I think he was wrong. Wilson actually done his hamstring, not a mental problem with it. So I don't know what it does for us. We're going into the last 4 games. Doug Tharm has been vital, as many players have. Many of the 11 players at start have been vital to what we've done, and I don't really see the reason to do that. What's the need? It's odd.
Yeah, he didn't really mention it in Scott's interview, so I wonder if I think the Humberside one is done first. Scott can come back and tell us, but I think it's given him a bit of time to think about it. Bit of frustration, but then again, if Doug Tharm's hammy had pulled up at the end, people would have been disappointed. But Mike, he's learned how to throw the ball, and that is a credit to him. Obviously, Jordan Cropper's come in for a couple of days, giving him a bit of a lesson, and he's learned how to throw it, not just to the edge of the area.
I've been telling you for a couple of months he's learned how to throw the ball properly. His throw compared to last season gets a lot further and it's a lot flatter.
Yes, Bruce has got something to say about Tharm.
Not about Tharm, but you talked about set pieces. I thought Hume's dead balls were poor again yesterday. There were 2 or 3 corners in front of us that literally the keeper just came and caught. And I agreed, and I've said before, I agree with everything everybody said. He's got all these assists, but I would be interested to know how many of them are from set pieces and how many of them are from open play, because I think he's a lot more of a threat. And I wonder, we've got all these technical players, or some, we've got some quite technical players. Can we not mix it up at corners and free kicks that somebody else takes them, because he seems to have the monopoly, and I don't recall us scoring many goals. It's not like Alex Hunt picking out Luke Waterfall every other week. I don't know what everybody else thinks.
I can't remember what Artel said at the fans forum. He said it was either free kicks or corners that we were near the top of the leaderboard in the division for scoring from them. And just thinking now, it must be free kicks, because I as well can't remember many corners. Now, I like Denver's in-swinging corner. I think that's good. And I also think when Van Sorsen comes out and they catch somebody 2-on-1 and they play a short one, that's quite dangerous. But the one where it's an outswinger, I'm never really a big fan of outswing corners, but I'd like to see it varied up with the right footer occasionally. Swing it in, put it on top of some of these keepers, because some of the keepers we've seen in this division are not great, and I'd just like to see us put it right. To take Tom's phrase, put it right in the mixer on top of them a bit more.
They were just a bit floaty yesterday. There were, like I say, there were just 2 or 3 that I remember in what must have been the second half. And like I say, he just seemed to sort of take them from down in front of us, so they would have been in swinging with his left foot where we were. And the keeper just came and caught them under no real pressure. It was just, and then all of a sudden you're going back the other way, and it's, I think the ones we've had a lot of success with, or that I can think of, like I say, in that conference season, Hunt to Waterfall, they were always quite driven, and then somebody came and attacked it. We seem to just sort of loft it up into the box a little bit. Like you say, I might be talking complete rubbish as usual, but if you're saying you think we're up there on one of the stats, but I don't remember us scoring a lot from corners.
It must be free kicks, because I can remember 3 or 4 now just off the top of my head, and I can only remember 2 corners. So it must have been free kicks he was talking about.
I can't believe we are halfway through and we have not talked about Kieran Green scoring from 89 yards out.
He scored from Wetherby, mate.
I don't know where that is.
Is that down the road? Yeah.
Oh, now it just sounds not that good. So he scored from Hartlepool.
Shooting the wrong way.
What in God's name? He's not even tried that before, has he? Where did he even get the idea of doing that? It wasn't. You get to watch these things again and again, and it just didn't. It was a pile driver. It wasn't just a dribble across the goal.
I have a question for Bruce. Bruce, when he did it, how many people went, "Oh, for fuck's sake," or no?
That's a Grimsby question.
I was right down the front, just next to the goal in the first half, and I'll be honest, I didn't even realise what was going on. We had the ball in our half, and then you could hear you can hear it on the telly that we've turned over possession. They've given a sloppy pass to him in midfield, and then the next thing I know, the ball's heading towards their goal. I didn't even see what happened. I mean, I've watched it. You say it was a pile driver, and it was, but you look at. I was chatting to my neighbour earlier, and he just said it's all technique, though. It's not. If I wanted to kick it a long way, I'd try and give it a right oomph. He just seemed to sort of put his foot behind it, and it what brilliant technique. He surprises us game on game, doesn't he, with the things that he's capable of doing, from the Stacey Caldicott role that he came to us with us believing that was what he was doing, the yard dog role. But a brilliant goal, really good, and I've looked at it quite a few times today, and what can you say? Better than Beckham.
Paul Van Thornton, his goal was lovely. It's a great little volley that was, but he'll never get talked about because that was just phenomenal. I mean, I was watching it with a friend, and both of us just couldn't believe our eyes. Like it was just had to watch it kind of 3 or 4 times. Go, has he really done it? But like you said, it wasn't a kind of hit and hope, or the keeper's off his line, I'll just try it. There seemed like real technique there. It was he took his time, spotted where the keeper was, and went for it and hit it absolutely perfectly. It's just so good, and it's just a shame, and that's another shame about the comeback, because it does unfortunately overshadow the goal a little bit. But as an individual goal, I think it's the greatest Town goal I've ever seen. it still doesn't. It's still not my favourite. The John Cockrell goal against against one of the Yorkshire teams that I can't remember from the 90s. That's my favourite. That team goal. But the Huddersfield, that's it. That's my favourite. But as an individual goal, that's the best Grimsby goal I've ever seen.
It'll overshadow it for this week. Of course it will. But in 30 years' time, I think you're still going to be remembering Kieran Green's goal against Harrogate. I don't think it'll have any effect on how it is remembered. For instance, most of the good goals I can remember seeing, I can't remember who the hell we were playing, let alone what the score was. So over time, it'll sink there. It's the best goal I think I've ever seen. I'll be honest with you. I might be a bit biased and forgetting some, but it's the best goal I've ever seen a Grimsby Town player score. And you're quite right. It wasn't like he drilled it. It was like he leant back and chopped down on it and just, like a little chip in behind, wasn't it? They must have noticed this. They must have noticed something before, because he hasn't had the time. He's took the ball, turned, played one touch out of his feet and gone for it. So he must have been looking for it, because you don't have that sort of thinking time to then notice where the keeper is and then play it. So he must have seen it. And, maybe, was it Bullshaw, their keeper? Maybe he's off his line a lot. Maybe there was a lot of wind. I don't know. He must have seen it before the ball's come to him. Because I don't think Kieran Green instinctively thinks to do that.
There's so many bits coming in. Tacklebury's desperate to get it called the Green Mile. Absolutely happy for that to be it. David Riley wants to know if it received national attention. I put it up. Sky put it as a notification out, so it certainly did on my end. And I don't think they just come to me for Grimsby stuff.
Well,
I would imagine
BBC too busy with
Well, BBC said team that once played Wrexham scores goal from halfway line. Paul Mullin reacts to it. And then Mariner Hoddo, who we need to say, stepping into Liam Emerson's shoes brilliantly. So good. It took them far too long to grab you. Captured that moment beautifully. Go back to the YouTube page on Grimsby Town. The footage is brilliant. Right behind it, perfectly captured. And he must have been absolutely bouncing when it went in. And Alex Billingham is saying Jevon's goal against Liverpool is the best one he's ever seen. You're all wrong. It is Chris Jones for Grimsby when the Torquay keeper went to clear the ball out. He jumped up, it hit him on the arse and it rolled in. That was the best goal that Town has ever scored.
I think the one Vernon scored against Colchester, it is right up there, not only for the goal, but also the assist.
But not for the defending. That was a really good goal. It was a really good goal, don't get me wrong, but I think the defending was a bit lame. But there's different kinds of goal, though, aren't there? The best goal ever is a very open-ended category, or the best Town goal, isn't it? Sometimes a thunderous volley, or he's brilliant, or like you say, what we saw yesterday was brilliant, and like somebody else said, Jevons is brilliant. But for a club that's we've had a few decent goals in the last 15, 20 years while we've been shite, haven't we? So at least we've had a little bit of cheer.
Thoughts and prayers to everybody else that's in the goal of the season competition, and they might have to close that down and restart that.
Well, I was going to say they fucked it. They fucked it. This is the problem. This is why you got to go the podcast way. We've got moments to come. We've got at least another 7 games.
And I already voted for Young Player of the Year until they realised, not to be harsh, but the quality of the players that are in the category, and then they put Corey in it. And that's not a dig at young players. Some of them are really, really good players, but have not quite reached the levels. And then they the same day, didn't they? They put Corey in it, so I had to go and revote.
Speaking of Player of the Year, are we talking about it? Are we talking about the ticket situation?
I think we already talked about it, but happy if you've got a piece to put to it, Youngie, do so.
We did season tickets last year, mate. Last week.
Last year, yeah. Yeah. Probably did them this year as well. Go on then. 40 quid for. So those who don't know, you got to pay 40 quid now to go watch Player of the Year. Okay, if you think that'll work. Youngie, thoughts?
I was quite outspoken.
I didn't do that.
It's all right. I was quite outspoken about it. I don't like it. As somebody, I grew up going to the Player of the Year awards, and I loved it as a youngster. I loved going there. It was always a fun atmosphere. It was always something for the fans and the players to kind of engage together with. And I know football's changed, and I completely get, and I get the argument completely that the club have got to look at every revenue stream possible. If the club had been a little bit maybe more transparent before the announcement and said, look, our aim with the Player of the Year award this year is to make it a little bit more kind of structured and to include a meal and to maybe bring it into the higher price bracket, and said that from the out. Okay, fair enough. It's not my idea, but that's great. But to kind of announce it with 2 or 3 weeks notice, when I know for a fact that there was, families who were thinking about going and suddenly can't afford to go now. I thought that was pretty poor form, really, especially considering we could be looking at a very expensive kind of end of the season now. There's some big away trips coming. Port Vale sold very well. MK Dons, I'm sure, is going to do really well. Potentially, we have the playoffs as extra expense as well. For me, I wasn't particularly impressed by it.
I think there's different ways of doing it as well. I mean, it's literally part of my job. And if you want to make some extra money, then do so. Because I would imagine that done at McMenemy's will make you money anyway through the bar bill alone. So you're just trying to increase what you make from it. With that, why are you not thinking differently? Why are you not just thinking of, instead of just thinking adding money to events, why are you not thinking, well, a week before pre-season, a week before the season starts, all the new players are here. Everyone's desperate to meet them, desperate to hear from them. Why don't we do an annual dinner every year where we can do it at McMenemy's, or we can do it somewhere slightly grander? That's where you pay 50 quid. And instead of trying to, I wanted to say fleece, but that's not right, overcharging fans to go to that, you are trying to tackle businesses, and you are trying to tackle industry within the region, because you can use it as a commercial venture to not only garner money from them, but it's an opportunity to showcase the company. Because let's be honest, commercially, the club, even with Jason Andrew in charge, has been shockingly bad. And whether it be through poor recruitment or whatever, there have been opportunities missed from the main stand being sponsored by an organization and it being missed. Those sort of opportunities where you can bring the companies of the region together and allow them to get dressed up in a tux and get the first chance to meet the brand new player that everyone's excited to meet, and charging them 75 quid a ticket for it, for a proper meal in a nice location, not just fish and chips at McMenemy's, is a gamble. But it's a gamble that you're going to have to take at some point if you're trying to where's the speculate to accumulate sort of thing that the club tends to miss out on all the time. And I think given the season ticket prices rises, which are never well received anyway, and alike, I think it can be handled better, which with me not knowing everything is easier for me to say and for us to say. But there are opportunities I think that we miss. And it's gone from a bit of a get together for everybody at the end of the season when we like the players, to something which is, the club are asking us for more money. Mike, did you have anything to say about it?
Yeah, I think me and Youngie have had a bit of chat about this week. I think we're slightly different. I understand Youngie's argument. I think first thing to say is I come from a position where I've never been, so probably don't really get it for the people that have been, and that's my fault. I've never been to it, so I don't probably understand that some people do see it as a must-attend event. I think season tickets, shirts, merchandise and stuff, I can understand arguments for prices on those because they are things you need as a fan. I don't understand, or I don't see, because I haven't been, why it is a must to go to event to start with. But that might just be me, so putting that out there. I find it difficult to criticize the club too much when we have been critical about them not reaching out for new pools of fans or new areas to get investment from, and sort of relying on the same old people to pay more money. It's quite obvious they're trying to expand the event into a more corporate type of event, and I don't blame them for that. The more money they bring in, the better, and it's really difficult to criticize that. I think maybe the criticism that could be levied is similar to one we've levied on a few things. It's not big problems, because 99% of the club I'm completely happy with. I think there is one element that we maybe do criticise more, and it's unfortunate that there's just one element when we do criticise it, but we shouldn't lose sight of the fact we're happy with most things, is maybe we've not found a middle ground here that would be easier. And I think that was probably the same with the kiosk gate a couple of weeks ago and some other things. Maybe you could have a 2-tiered event, maybe you could have 2 separate events, or have something in and around it so fans and with families and kids that want to go along to this event can do so, but you can also have the corporate side. So maybe we've not found that middle ground, which I think exists, in honesty. And I don't think you make it's been a long time since I worked in the hotel trade, but I managed a hotel. You don't usually make much money on food. It's the drinks and the entrance fees you make the money on. So I'm not too sure about that. And secondly, is communication. As Youngie said, I think this is bang on. I think if you're going to do this, you need to know that a section of the fans do look forward to this and do go every year and it's something in their calendar, and they like to take their kids meet the players. You've got to communicate it earlier before then you just put the price out. Just tell people about it, because if people know and people understand the reasoning, less people get angry. Of course, whatever decision you make, some people are going to get pissed off. That's just life. But if you've explained, look, this is what we're trying to do this year. This is the reasons we're doing it. We're going to hold this open day, which they hold on Monday, which fantastic. Well done. Around the date, we're also going to hold this event for you to come so you can bring your kids to it. Then people would understand it. It's a little bit like, bang, here's an announcement. It's going to cost you 40 quid. We've changed everything. I don't blame them for doing it personally, but maybe they could have communicated that a little bit better or found a middle ground.
Yeah, my feelings are fairly similar to Mike. I think we've established that during this week in the group and online. At first, I was annoyed. I've never been to one either. I don't really know why, but it's an annual thing.
Oh no, hang on.
What?
No, I'm just doing what Polar Knight suggested.
Yeah, and I just I think like Mike, I think communication. Just an explanation. We're going to do this. We want it to be more this, blah, blah, blah. And I also think, I'm not quite sure how it would work practically, but, could we have an event where the players go meet the kids vote for and give out under 16 awards, that the junior, the junior supporters club or whatever you want to call it, the junior supporters, they give out their trophies. Mums and dads can go along if they want as well. And then later on, you could maybe do that at 5:30 or something, 7 o'clock, something like that. The players then move on to McMenemy's where they have a meal and they sit down with the corporates and they do that as well. I don't think that would be overly hard when you've got all the players up for it anyway. But again, I'm not an expert in that area. But yeah, communication and middle ground, I think, like Mike said.
It is, but again, it is really hard to criticise the intent too much, because we have said we need to get more money into the club. They need to be better commercially. And I think that's a legitimate criticism that we've all had. So then when they do try and do it, it is a bit difficult to be too harsh on them. I just think take people with you. It's a lot easier to change things if you take people with you and explain why.
Yeah, that's it. Just go. I think that's probably the biggest thing that's bothered me, is the fact that it just came out of nowhere and at quite short notice as well. And like I said, April's could be potentially an expensive month for supporters, and the fact that the season tickets have gone on sale, so people having the 3 months. This is their first payment this month as well, so there's a lot of outgoing going out. So, like I said, if they came out earlier on and went, look, this is our intention for Player of the Year. We know it's not going to be popular, but this is this is the way we're planning. We've got notice. You can agree with it or not, but their intentions are right. But yeah, it's probably the lack of communication. The other thing that maybe I don't know how they're going to do as well is that the Player of the Year award has always also been the youth teams from throughout the years as well. So from kind of like under 8, under 9s onwards. So I hope it doesn't kind of alienate parents as well, that potentially obviously want to go and see their kids get Player of the Year, unless they're going to get a separate night now. I don't know. But but you could argue, of course, well, that's great because parents will pay to have they go and watch their kids win.
That would be so fucking harsh.
But there's the middle ground. Yeah, there's the middle ground, Youngie. Right? Do 2 separate events, Player of the Year, corporate, what have you, and do the rest of everything. But the players make the players go, and the players are there at the age group levels, Player of the Year night. So The only difference is you're not seeing them get presented award. The players are still there to be mixed with. You're still being recognised, and there's still the interaction with the club. I do think if McMenemy's was bigger, they'd probably do a tiered event where they had corporates at the front, and then everybody else could come in for a tenner and sit at the back. You know, and that's obviously size of the venue that's the problem. If they go to a bigger venue, it's obviously not theirs. They don't get any of the proceeds, so it's a difficult one. I'd hate to be making decisions at the club because whatever you do, somebody's going to be pissed off with it.
I think the supporters, to be fair, with the season ticket rises, have been mainly okay with it. I don't think there's been much backlash. I think there's been a few that maybe a few criticisms of the kind of the levels of the junior tickets from an age perspective. But I think generally the fans have been okay with the season ticket rises. I don't think there's been much kind of pushback on them. So I think obviously the other discussion is that a lot of perhaps the more negative reaction to this has come from perhaps the Mariners Trust members, but that's a very different conversation to be had, maybe for another day.
Yeah, let's do that. I'm coming from a place of no knowledge actually from that. I haven't even touched that.
What could go wrong?
That electrical wire is currently flopping around in the street. I'll go pick that up.
What could go wrong with us wading into something we don't know anything about? What could possibly go wrong?
Yeah. Let's move
on. Actually, I'm going to...
He was to...
I was about to say, Bruce, I agree. And I was actually going to flip that round and say a really positive thing right now. The Trust is partly involved in, but mainly the Heritage Stream and Christine Green. I went on Friday to the Heritage exhibition and it was fantastic. Absolutely loved it. I took my daughter, who is not particularly interested in football, but has a little bit of likes history, and she enjoyed it. Like, she enjoyed kind of reading about the history of the club and how it linked to the town and things like that. I think that is a brilliant thing, and I think it's still open till the middle of the week, I believe. If anyone gets a chance to go, just support it, sign the book. It's completely free. It's a good kind of, you'll fill a good hour there. You'll learn something new. Well done to the Heritage Trust, and well done to the Trust to be part of it.
And they also, I've seen that. I haven't been, but I've seen the pictures and what have you sent and seen online, and I've had a couple of mates that have been to see, and it's fantastic. So well done for organising that, and that's brilliant. But also they did have the sort of family open training session as well, which is great to see as well. So full credit to them for that side of things.
Yeah, well, that's a serious part done. There we go. We've got about 10 minutes left. Is there anything else we need to talk about? Yes, Mike.
51 minutes was Bruce's first eye roll that I noticed.
Oh, good. Well, it's only 52, Bruce, so you only have to put up for a minute and a half.
I've got a fucking lazy eye, you cheeky twat.
No. No, you did a proper...
Mike,
I'll be in HR in the morning, sorry.
Boot him out. I'm in charge of HR in this place. That is disgraceful behaviour.
How long do you want him to be kept out?
23.
That's fine. You're the boss.
Aha!
Pod title is Cotton Eye Bruce.
I was trying to go for a boss eye a reference, but you're the boss. I couldn't think of what else to say after
Behave.
That.
It was a very noticeable roll.
You can't say that, Mike. It's not that noticeable.
Eyes,
That's really
plural,
rude.
not one.
Old four eyes.
I didn't say you did an eye roll.
Stigmatism.
He's got a what?
He must have had. You know what it's like, young. If you've got a difference like that, it must be a stigma all your life.
Bruce, I'll be in HR office with you tomorrow morning.
You bloody won't. You're locked. You've been revoked. Your access code won't work anymore.
Mike's going. Are you talking to me? Are you talking to the finance team?
Is that in the morning?
Sorry, Bruce. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Whichever way you look at it. So
he's gone again.
Is there anything else you want to talk about before we go on to our game? What game are we doing today, by the way?
Calendars.
Right. Anything else to add before I bring that in?
No.
Get down to Lundell Park on Friday, you bastards.
Should be a sellout, shouldn't it, Youngie? Should be a sellout Friday.
It's going to be good.
100%.
Before we do that, let's talk about this. So
good graphics.
Thank you very much. Our graphic partner is well and truly onto it. So that's me, I think. We are delighted because of our friends at Docs. We've got 2 tickets to give away for Docs Fest this year. Charlatans headlining, Ash Maximo Park. It's like they've taken my playlist from 2008 and thrown it up for everybody to listen to. So we are giving 2 tickets away and we need you to join us. So we want 8 of you to come along. You are all going to experience the joys of every game that Bruce has whatever has come out of Bruce's fettered mind, you are going to be able to play here. Winner then goes through to a semi-final and then we'll have a final. Is it a lot for 2 free tickets? Probably, but we've never given anything half decent away, but we're ready for it as well. So if you want to do that, drop us an email. You can either do that through our Twitter account. It will give the details of it. I have no idea what it is. Or you can drop us a message on Facebook or on Blue Sky or whatever. And we'll be great to have you on. You have to be free at 8 o'clock on a Sunday. Terms and conditions apply. What are those terms and conditions? I have no fucking idea, but we'll make them up. And that's it. So please do come along, listen to it. We even did a graphic. And we've got a bedding music. So we've done proper things for it. Thank you to Will, Paul and the team for getting it sorted. And it'll be good to give you, one of you lucky so-and-so's, tickets to that. And as a taster, this is the sort of game and entertainment you can expect. With your host, Bruce. Which way is he looking? Feathers!
Oh, fucking hell. You can't say that.
You get nothing for a pair in this game, do you, Bruce?
No, not a matching pair. Who are the contestants tonight then?
We've got no contestants because we tried to put it out and I only got Trev to come, so we're going to have to do it on our own.
So it starts next week. So it's Youngie or Mike are going to win the tickets.
Basically, yeah.
We'll start the ticket giveaway next week.
Okay.
No, we'll just do it that way. One of you 2 will win it, and then we'll sell them on eBay.
We'll just lose.
That's right.
Yeah, we'll just lose.
Yeah, deal. That's nice.
So who wants to play tonight then?
It'll be Youngie and Mike.
Are you gonna be the judge? Are you?
I'm always the judge. I'm fair and biased. I mean balanced.
Bullshit.
What do you mean bullshit?
Right. Anyway,
there's lots of words.
How old are you? How old are you? How old are you? How old are you?
You're a twat, Green.
Did that help?
That is the best game. That is one of my favourites. Right, we started then. This is going to.
Yeah. I'll shut up.
Can you knock the music? Knock the music off.
Bruce Forsyth wasn't having to say any of this, was he, when he was doing it? Who stopped the music?
Yeah, but he had it on the background anyway.
I can't concentrate. Right, Youngie, just for no other reason than you haven't been nasty to me tonight. You're going first.
You hadn't heard what he said before you joined, mate.
That doesn't matter. Behind my back's fine.
Yeah, out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah, but you can see that anyway.
Right, can we stop? Right, can we be a bit quiet now, please? Bit of respect. Thank you. Right, Richard, your starting card tonight, 2025, is Cameron McJanet. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And are you going higher or lower than Cameron McJanet?
I'm going to go lower. I'm going to take a bit of a punt. I'm going to go lower than Cameron McJanet.
Okay, you've pulled 2023. Lower than Cameron McJanet. Please bear with me.
Ooh, that's got to go to
Andy Smith.
Oh, that's got to go to adjudication.
I think I'm going to have to bring Alex in on this one. We've got Andy Smith or Cameron McJanet. That's a tough start.
Well, I admire both, but given his role in us getting promoted by beating and destroying Kyle Hudlin and also making the pass that put McAtee through, it has to be Andy Smith.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm amazed.
I respect that.
I'd have gone the other way.
I hope in a month's time that all flips around.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
Can you imagine him? We're getting Newport County for some reason, and Cameron McJanet is running straight through him.
Right, it's a game show, not a social club. Can we have a bit quiet, please? Right. Right, Mike. Andy Smith, higher or lower?
I'm going higher than Andy Smith.
Higher than Andy Smith?
Yeah.
You've pulled out 2021, unlucky.
Well, that's okay.
Right. Higher than Andy Smith, here we go.
Have you shuffled these before you started, or absolute
Here
shambles
we go.
again?
Higher than Andy Smith, you say? I say Matt Green.
Well, I don't think it's fair asking Alex to judge somebody in his family.
Right, Youngie, Matt Green. Higher or lower than Matt Green?
You know what? I think it's safe to go higher than Matt Green.
Well, okay, fine.
You've got 2022. Higher than Matt Green.
Says a lot that we're thinking about it.
You've got Johnny McAtee.
Oh,
I will give you higher than Matt Green. Right, Johnny McAtee. Higher or lower than McAtee?
I go lower than John McAtee.
I can remember the 90s. You're going
so
lower
so can the rest of us.
McAtee. You've got.
He's cut you out here, Alex, completely now, hasn't he?
No, I don't need him for all. He comes in for the ones I don't judge. Right, you've got 2004.
Yeah.
So he's only judging when it's relevant.
When it's tight. Okay, Johnny McAtee.
Who's judging if it's tight?
You went lower than McAtee, didn't you?
I did. Lower than McAtee.
You've pulled Simon Ford.
Yeah, I think I'll take that. I think
between you and I and the things that Mike said earlier, I think, yep, Simon Ford, well done. Right. So Simon Ford, higher or lower than Simon Ford?
Well, we haven't had any from the 90s yet, so I'm going to go higher than Simon Ford.
Whoa, hang about. Not everybody remembers the 90s, Youngie. It's only Bruce who remembers them.
Right, well, we've got here 1998, and you've gone higher than Simon Ford.
He's not shuffled them.
You've got Livo.
Yes.
I will give you higher than Simon Ford for Livo.
Yes.
It's an absolute shambles, this, Bruce.
Right. Higher or lower than Livo?
Lower than Livo.
Is that somebody at the door?
You've pulled 2024. And you've got Jake the Snake Eastwood.
Jake the Snake Eastwood.
Why is he a snake, Smash?
I don't know. I just Jake the Snake. Wasn't he a wrestler?
He was a wrestler, yes.
Why am I saying Jake the Snake? I don't know. I don't know. It was a wrestling reference to my mate Youngie. My mate Richard Young.
Yeah. I suppose it's better than calling him Jake the Peg, innit? Nowadays.
Yeah. I don't know. Are we going higher or lower than Eastwood?
Higher.
Higher than Eastwood?
Higher than Eastwood.
You've got 2020.
Yeah, just let him pick which calendar he's going to use, depending on the answer you've given.
They're all in order, thank you, Michael.
Yeah. Well, let me just see what calendar we've got here next.
All right, okay. We've got Jake Hessenthaler. I'm going to bring in Alex. I'm going to bring in Alex from the DN35 podcast to adjudicate.
What do you want?
Jake Hessenthaler or Jake Eastwood? The Battle of the Jake the Snakes.
Hessenthaler. Jake Eastwood is famous for injuring himself on a goalpost.
That's a bit harsh.
And being a snake. You just called him a fucking snake, Bruce.
Why is he a snake?
I don't know. We've not got to the bottom of that.
I don't know either. It's just Jake the Snake. Right, Youngie, what did you do?
Roll Harris song, that, isn't it?
Oh, this one. That's Jake the Peg.
Right, did you go? I can't remember what you did.
Higher than Hessenthaler. Higher than
Hessenthaler.
Right, so you've got higher than Hessenthaler.
You went lower.
No, I went higher than Eastwood.
Yeah, and Alex adjudicated. Mike, you never stood a chance.
Of course, I didn't know what you were doing it, did I?
Right. So we went. What did we go with? Hessenthaler, higher or lower?
Higher than Hessenthaler.
You've got Mitch Rose.
Oh, unlucky.
Oh, Alex.
I don't think we. I'll go on, Alex. You can decide.
Oh yeah, yeah. Let's let the guys decide.
What are the options? Sorry,
Jake Hessenthaler or Mitch Rose.
Mitch Rose.
What?
What?
Okay, fine, fair enough.
The penalties that kept us up.
He was in a relegation team.
The penalties that kept us up, though.
He wasn't in the relegation.
He wouldn't have to score the penalties if he wants to fucking shit in the first place.
First of all,
well done. We've lost 50 games this season,
Mike,
but you scored a fucking penalty.
Mike,
put Chesterfield comment on. Put it on.
I know I put you all up here.
He just shut me down.
You can carry on this one.
Right, Mitch Rose, Chesterfield, penalty, wall of sound, balls of steel, then went to Boston and knocked someone out. Brilliant.
Somebody had to pick Harry Cardwell up at Swindon after that brutal challenge, didn't they?
They did.
Right?
They did.
Do you know what?
And it was Mitch Rose pen. So the judge has adjudicated, Richard, you are still in the game and you're still in control of the calendars. Higher or lower than Mitch Rose?
We'll go higher. Can I
just say, I'm surprised we can actually hear what Alex is saying, considering he sat down talking all that shit.
Oh, right. Higher than Mitch Rose. You've turned 1996. We've got 2 calendars left. I would say this should be a fairly good. You've got Jim Dobbin. Newcastle gunner Dobbin.
I tell you what.
Right, that's messing with my eyes. Can you stop doing that, please? Right,
we can't do those jokes anymore.
Right, Jim Dobbin, you've had control of nearly the whole game. If you get this right, Youngie, you take tonight's title. If you get it wrong, Mike wins by default.
If you get it right, Youngie. Oh, I've never heard such a loaded phrase. If you get it right.
Okay.
Right, Jim
He's
Dobbin,
got 17 calendars there.
Lower than Jim Dobbin.
It's a tough one because there hasn't been a lot of 90s calendars come out. But I am going to say lower than Jim Dobbin.
You're playing a bit tactical here.
Yeah, he's got to go get 2022.
Lower than Jim Dobbin, you've turned. Oh, it's 2021 again. No,
of course it is.
You've turned 2001.
Oh, this could be. I'm worried now.
What did you go lower than Jim Dobbin or higher?
Lower than Jim Dobbin.
He's devastated.
It's Peter Handyside.
Oh, you've thrown it away at the end.
I am ever so sorry, Richard. But you've been in charge for the whole game, and it's gone to
Harrogate it.
It's gone to Harrogate Mike.
Shambles, you can't even fix your own quiz, Bruce. Shambles.
I've had a lovely day, Bruce.
You did really well. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
And
well done,
congratulations, Mike.
I think I deserve that one. Hard fought. Basically,
right. For anyone that's just listening and not watching, this is probably a really bad bit. There's a camera on Youngie and he looks really sad.
Yeah. Oh, everybody.
I've sat back for 95 minutes there, and Youngie's put it in his own net.
I've Danny Rosed it, haven't I?
Yeah. I've had 2 banks of 5 for 95 minutes.
Why are you so angry, Mike? What's going on?
I'm not angry. I'm delighted.
Is it because David Artell had a go at your boy? Have you still not got over it yet? Your second born.
It's his last pod tonight. We want him to go out on a high, don't we? In his last pod.
Well, somebody taking me out in the week.
Well, you got to go to the HR in the morning, haven't you? You're going to go the way of Steve Evans.
So, to anyone watching that, look at us. Look at this joyous family and how much fun we're having playing this game. This could be you next week. You come and join us. Play this game. And you could win.
Jack Foley wants to know how old I am. I'm not old enough to meet you in a car park, Jack. That's.
Is he one of the 3 lads that shouted it to me across the car park in Swindon, in Crewe?
Did you have any at Harrogate?
A couple, I think, but I can't really remember very well. But yeah, there was definitely 1 or 2. How old are you? Yeah, all right, thanks. Yeah,
that's a very good question, Joshua Parrish. But it's a bit late to go into that.
Yeah, I've had a couple of really good ideas for how old are you scenarios as well. So
please don't. Jesus Christ, what is wrong with you?
Is Youngie starting the? Is it Youngie or Youngie next week? One of his quizzes to start off because Richard's doing quizzes.
I'll do squad numbers next week,
and then I'll come in with a how old are you the week after before we go back round to calendars in a bit.
Mariner Hoddo, if you do that, I will make sure that we retweet every video you do. But it has to be for the rest of the season. I need you to shout, how old are you?
Do I need to read this?
Bruce. Mariner Hoddo is going to shout it at you from the pitch side.
Mariner Hoddo was at our end, wasn't he? Did he see the lad that got kicked out that fell over the fence trying to retrieve his pizza in its box when we scored? And he got dragged out of the ground for encroaching. And as he went down the stand, someone grabbed the pizza box out of his hand and took it into the stand.
No honour amongst thieves, this place. What about never leave a man behind?
They were dragging him up. They were dragging him. It was hilarious. They were dragging him. Well, not dragging him. He was going. But he was taking him out, and then he literally went over the fence to get his pizza box. They were right miserable. I hope they let him back in, and it was just a bit of show. But yeah, he was going down the stand, and someone just leant out and just grabbed the pizza box that he'd got on the pitch to retrieve.
Amazing. Mariner Hoddo
serves full pizza.
Harrogate.
Yeah, they were selling pizza. They're selling pizzas in the ground, I think.
There's only 2 other sporting events where I've seen where they sell whole pizzas, Youngie. Would you like to guess where they are?
America. Oh, okay. Cricket, Ashes, maybe something like that.
Cricket,
Lords. Yeah.
No. First and foremost, the Oval.
The Oval.
How dare you? That was good.
Sorry.
Fulham.
They had him yesterday.
My friends at Fulham.
He's casually slipped in this middle class, and we've not noticed it. It's just happened.
What do you mean? Says the man who lives in Sutton.
And I don't go to Fulham every other bloody week, do I? Eat cheese and bloody wine. Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
can you treat this week? I'm going up the lake with my friends in my bowler hat.
My friend's got a spare ticket. He's got my name on it though.
In a lake. It's yeah, but I'd do it in a proper northern way, at least, eating cheese and wine. It'd be a Dairy Lee triangle and white lightning.
Nice. But no, we're dragging him back down again this week because he's meeting us at Port Vale on Monday.
I'm going back up north.
Yeah, that's it.
He'll turn up at Port Vale. Oh, isn't this quite quaint?
When did they bring the?
Is this Royal Burslem?
Well, all I'm expecting is a load of chavs in Stone Island sat on the corner, with their Merlot bottles open, leaving it to breathe.
I thought it was a port. Why couldn't I bring my catamaran?
Chateau Neuf de Pape View.
With
chilled. This is room temperature.
With us having 2 games over 4 days, are we still doing Sunday next week, or are we going to wait and do the 2 games?
I don't know. I'm free and easy, and I'll also do the show. But we did. Yeah, I don't mind. It depends how the first game goes, shall we? If we lose to Swindon, are we going to do anything? This is where it will cut to black in a film when they're reviewing it, going, "We've lost to Swindon, we've lost to Port Vale." It's just fucking shit.
Yeah, we'll see you for the season review in end of May.
It's the little bit at the end of the Muppet Christmas Carol where Gonzo and Rizzo are too scared to go to the Ghost of Christmas Future, and they say they'll see you at the end. We'll see you at the Player of the Season Awards. Alex is paying.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Can't say that, not in this day and age, Mike.
It's my big birthday next Sunday.
Yes. Oh, we've got to do it next Sunday then. We've got to do next Sunday.
I won't be here on Sunday. I think I'll be busy.
I'm liking how I'm getting away with this. Good. There we go.
Bruce Fenwick, this is your life.
No
one's got a that big.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Fenwick. It will never go. That's right. It's your optician, Bruce.
I'm going to be doing this thing on my. I'm going to have to come next week because I'll be the only one that's still allowed on here.
No, unfortunately, I think you're the last of the community that is still allowed to be mercilessly bullied.
Bruce, I'm with you. I'm the only other one that
sponsorship, aren't they?
I'm the only other one that's optically challenged like you.
I'm the.
I had my eyes lasered. Spent loads of time in Morrison's with the.
You're saying that I'm the only one that's old enough to be able to have the piss taken out of me without reporting it to different people, and I'm non-snowflake.
You're too woke, Bruce.
I'm from the generation where you were bullied mercilessly at school for your dinner money and stuff.
Bruce is so woke, he's actually come full circle. He's now asleep.
I don't even know what that means. Yeah. Anyway, we must be. I can't see because I haven't got my glasses on, but we must be. Time must be ticking.
Yeah. It never stops, Bruce. You know, it always ticks continuously. Whatever you're doing, time still ticks on.
It just slows down when you talk.
There we go. Have we got before you go, because I do struggle for a response after. What are we calling the show?
John Gurlis is the best looking.
Boss eye for the straight.
No, somebody had to do the Green Mile, didn't they? That was brilliant. I like that.
Okay,
yeah, the Green Mile. Yeah, that's good.
That's brilliant. Being led to our deaths. There we go. Anything for anyone else before we go? Good.
We'll see you
all. It was
all
nice
soon.
to be part of it while it lasted.
Yeah, it was nice to be here.
Yeah.
But you know, think of all the friends we made along the way.
We'll do a collection for you, Mike.
Is it me or Alex first tomorrow?
You, definitely.
All right, okay.
What's up? All right, oh, fine.
For the HR meeting.
Mike's first in. It'll be like the apprentice.
I'm not doing any more. I'm done.
We'll interview him in the taxi on the way home.
Everybody say goodbye to Mike. You'll have Sam back next week.
Bye, Mike.
Bye, Mike.
Fuck off.
Bye.
Open wide for some soccer!
And now the shipping forecast issued by the Met Office on behalf of the Maritime and Coast Guard Agency at 1130. Go! At 1130.
I don't think I've ever wanted to be in a stand more than my life running there. They're going crazy. Hey, they got penalty here. They've been fish flying about there. There's no tomorrow.
What a magnificent piece of football! A really, really good goal. You can't make it straight like that.